Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Major 2 in Boston smashed through some viewership records so far here in the CDL, especially for a major tournament, reaching 300,000 concurrent viewers across all the different co-streams going on last night. But could that be the last time in a very long time we get any proper watch parties for the CDL? Scump seems certainly concerned that could be his last watch party on Twitch for sure. Zuma seems to feel the same thing, with a YouTube deal potentially pending as well. What does this mean for the scene, or will it potentially get delayed, or maybe won't happen at all? Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. For an interesting stat here between, well, from Breaking Point, the only players at 28 years or older to win an event, Clay, Crim, and now Slasher joins that rather exclusive club of some of the greatest of all time. Quick note on Thieves as well, just didn't have enough in the end. I thought Octane was phenomenal this tournament, honestly. I put him down. I think Mack did like a roundtable thing a couple of months ago, and I was wondering, okay, who do I put in my MVP conversation? And I chucked Octane in there this year because I feel like just the way the game plays, and he certainly played like it this tournament. They didn't get over the line, but man, listening to his comms and Thieves comms is just poetry in motion, honestly. But with Methods retiring, unfortunately, of the great OpTic dynasty from, you know, the World War II days with Scump, Crim, and Methods and Octane, only one member of this OpTic dynasty remains. This team honestly gets too bad of a rep. Yes, they got top 24 at champs, but they actually were a pretty disgusting team when they formed, at least in hardpoints. They had an unbelievable hardpoint record. It just wasn't to be at the World Championship of the year when they lost one series to Paddy P and had to go home despite the fact that that team won the tournament. But yeah, Methods, as he says last night, after 10 years of competing, returned from professional COD. Just wanted to say a couple of things on this in terms of what's next for Methods, because I know that at the end of his speech he said the future is green, and I think that was a nice thing to say theoretically to the crowd and the Boston fans and all this. But you know, I do have a very strong inclination here that Methods to OpTic will indeed be a thing, and that's probably what that was referring to. So yeah, stay tuned for the OpTic Methods announcement. I do believe it's coming soon. And actually, this is quite impressive. Methods placing top 6 pretty much joins like an impressive club of people who have placed very well at their final tournament. It's kind of weird to see Scump not even on this list, but Swanee has the best one because he won the, I think it was the European Stage 2 playoffs back in Black Ops 3. Then he was never able to attend the World Championship that year, so Swanee went out on a dub. I thought that Big T actually had a decent placement. Maybe that's not true. Rambo was 4th. Formal was 5th and 6th, I guess, the World Championship in Cold War. Methods joins him right there at top 3 all time. So pretty interesting to see that many of these players, after, you know, that retired after very poor placings, Methods is actually tied for 3rd all time on this list now, which is kind of impressive from him. And I was happy to see Clay at least have some decent weekend here. I mean, he was playing on the tables last night and apparently made more of the tables than top 3 made at the event. So good to see that Clay actually had some success this weekend. It was unfortunate to see how it went for Vegas, but yeah, hopefully they can turn it around and make some changes or whatever. But he also confirms here in another tweet that, like, yeah, see everyone in Texas for the next major. So Clay's not trying to go away anytime soon. I do feel like, you know, to a certain degree, Slash's success will probably be inspiring Clay to keep going. And in the final series he played at the weekend that they lost, he actually was like the best player on his team that series. So good to see. Long may it continue, but the difficulty is for Vegas is that they're slipping dangerously into the territory of probably not qualifying for the World Championship again, which obviously isn't ideal for Clay at all. I do wonder if there's any other teams down the line that could get Clay, just because, you know, Boston, right, with Zinni being gone, I think Clay was entertaining a Boston offer potentially during the off-season. Now Beans is going to be there, but if, okay, Beans I think is a phenomenal player, right, but if it doesn't work out from that team from a leadership perspective, maybe a team like Boston says, you know what, Clay, do you want to be, you know, do you want to come in instead, and we can also like help you retire in a couple of seasons when you want to as well? I don't know, but you know, we'll just see how it goes for Clay, because I'd like to see him retire on an organization, not the Vegas Legion, but I don't know how likely that is to happen, unfortunately. Big update as well on the Clean JoeDeceives situation, or Clean Deceive, I think people are saying, or Bold JoeDeceives, or whatever. So Cellium is going to shave his head later this month live on stream. I believe you mentioned on the flank they're going to go to the FaZe facility for some sort of special show, and Cellium will be live on it, shaving Ben's head. The bet was, I think, between Ben and Aches that I think there was some money that would go the other way if FaZe didn't win the tournament, but if they did win it, then Ben had to shave his head. So certainly looking forward to this one. Hopefully he can go for the straight up Heisenberg look. And also, just speaking of FaZe, I mentioned earlier today that Cellium is now the first player ever to have a 1.30 KD event in 5 different Call of Duty titles. Like, he already held the record at 4 different COD titles. Second on this list is Octane and Formal with only 3 different COD titles. So absolutely remarkable from Cellium, to be honest. And he also joins the ranks of some of the players that have the all-time highest KD at a tournament. Formal has the record at 8, Dashy is at 7, Scump is at 5, and Cellium joins him there. So So 5 events played where Cellium has the top KD at the tournament, and you know, he's obviously not far off moving up this list further on as well. Yes, there was a lot of snaking drama. I thought it was nice actually that the crowd was booing the snaking at times. I mean, it's not just Cellium, it's not just Drazah. You know, I think Afro is like an absolute prime snaker, but you can't really blame him, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it was started by, you could argue, Cellium. I mean, really, I think it was Cellium that did it, and other pros couldn't really find a way around it, so they just decided to do it as well. Then Drazah started doing it, and then the whole league does, and it's frustrating to watch, and honestly, like, it's just impossible to play against. And as Donny Temp says, snake cheese the next 3 maps, who will be crowned the King Cobra, right? Which is a pretty accurate way of suggesting it, so I hope they can find a way to deal with this, and the pros can get rid of it somehow. I don't really think the league can do anything about this one. They could do something about the loudness equalization, which I believe they did this weekend. Can they do anything about the snaking? I'm just not sure they really can, but it's frustrating for a viewer experience. The crowd were letting their thoughts known on that this weekend when there were some complete snake-offs happening, but, you know, when there's money on the line, it's going to be happening unless someone starts to shut this down, whether that's a GA or whatever. But I'm sure Slasher isn't so mad about the snaking thing now that he's got some of the premium candidates for it exactly on his team. Let's talk then watch parties and the Scump situation. As Scump tweets out last night, this is insane to me. We can see him right here with 138,000 viewers doing the watch party for the Call of Duty League. Bance is my king, you know, say it again, SAE of course, because the good old SAE drama from a little bit earlier on. But yes, this could be the last watch party we see from Scump in a proper capacity. The numbers this weekend were out of control. We haven't seen these numbers really at any event I can remember in COD history that hasn't been a world championship. Like, we've seen these numbers before, 300k plus at some COD champs, but to have it in a major is remarkable. Average viewership 150,000, peaked at 300 plus thousand for Thieves versus OpTic. Of course, that includes the mainstream, plus Scump, plus Zoomer, plus all the other co-streamers that were coming in. And, you know, it's so many matches over 200k. Even FaZe Minnesota just before the OpTic series was at 280k. So absolutely doing it right. But we saw the news the other day that potentially a return to YouTube is imminent. Now, whether this is just straight up, I mean, look, Activision have got so much money in their pockets. If they wanted to just kind of fund the league to continue for a little bit while we enjoy this growth period we are currently having, they could do it. But maybe Activision think, you know what, we want the money all the time, and therefore YouTube are offering a certain amount of cash, we've got to take it immediately. And maybe there's an element to which some of these organizations need this money, the media rights money, to actually keep operating, which might be true as well. So I don't know the full story here. All I know is that we've been killing it on Twitch lately, and everything's been moving in the right direction, and it might be coming to a rather swift conclusion. This is certainly what Scump was mentioning last night, as he says, hopefully not the last watch party, appreciate all the love, till next time. But he mentioned at the end of the stream that this could be the last watch party. Now, Hicks actually says here that there's some call happening shortly after the match is concluded, kind of implying that there was something going on, as in the owners were talking about it and getting some discussions going with the league maybe to try and resolve this, maybe just push it back to the end of the season. I don't know. I'd like to see at least a full season of Twitch, so then if we do go back to YouTube, we can at least bring the maximum growth that we've achieved over to a new platform, whatever the case is. But this is what Scump has to say.
Again, if you guys aren't following the stream, that's all that I ask. Hope to see you guys around more. Could be the last watch party on Twitch. We don't know.
Damn.
Could be. We don't know.
There's a phone call happening in literally 1 hour.
There's a phone call happening.
And it's a mustard 10?
No. It's somebody else.
The plot does thick.
Crazy that I'm sorry, like this is me saying this, not them. If you think it's okay to take a real life location and be like, yeah, practice. Imagine all the angles of people, you know, virtually shooting each other on this. Like,
Why didn't do any
I'm just
real life fakes?
It makes zero sense. It is the laziest thing I've ever. It is like pathetic.
Oh, you said it because of this? You said because it's no invention.
Yeah, because
Six is spitting.
Because it's so sad to see, because I mean, dude, this game made billions and they can't literally brainstorm for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong, I prefer the viewing experience on YouTube as many of you do, but I think for the scene, what we've currently got going on is much, much better. Now, nonetheless, the flanker in a similar spot, right? Zoomer back in the day used to host his watch parties. He would just show like maybe the mini map and the score and all this type of stuff. So he'd show as much as he could without actually showing the broadcast, because obviously if there's YouTube exclusive, you can't be showing the full content or whatever on Twitch, right? But he's he's going to keep pushing the boundaries. So, you know, watching that over or watching that with the mainstream is the way to go. And obviously in regular sports, watch parties are also a thing that people can't show the actual broadcast. So they've got to, you know, watch alongs and stuff like this happening. All sorts of sports at the moment, and they're very entertaining. Now, whether in the long term you're actually going to be able here in Call of Duty to just use the entire content from the main broadcast seems maybe unlikely to continue into the long term. But for now, it's doing very well. Nonetheless, though, the question that I have is, could Scump move to YouTube with the league? Because we see the rumors the other day that YouTube is potentially, the COD League is going back to YouTube. And obviously Scump is just, you know, going to the full-time content game, right? And he's over at Twitch at the moment. Therefore, if the CDL's on YouTube, but if the Call of Duty League still wants to do this watch party stuff, like, because I think the guys that run the COD League are quite happy with the way it's going. And my understanding is that it's, you know, it's from above the COD League that these decisions are coming down from, and that's where the frustration lies, I'm sure, for a lot of the guys that are actually trying to do the best job they can at the top of the COD League, that a lot of their decisions are not made by them. But if the likes of Daniel, Sai, and some of the other guys are still down for these watch parties to continue, then they could still, I mean, they've been pushed every weekend, they push it hard, right? Puckett's on the broadcast, they're always bringing up all the watch party hosts and all this type of stuff live on stream. So if they're still happy for this to go ahead, then it could happen if there was a streamer that was on YouTube, right? Now, Scump right now is Twitch partnered, but it's not out of the realms of possibility at all. And even as Ake says, cue Scump exclusive to YouTube streaming announcement, because I wouldn't be surprised at all. A lot of content creators have done this lately. Scump obviously has the audience on Twitch, but also he's got the audience on YouTube. An absolutely massive channel. Many creators in the last 12, 24 months have made the switch from Twitch to YouTube, and it actually can be a very sensible move, because YouTube can offer some good money. They can offer a guaranteed rate for you to join the platform, whereas on Twitch, if you're not streaming, if you're not there all the time, you're losing money every single day. Whereas on YouTube, I guess that stresses kind of go away. Scump would, honestly, I think Scump's bottom line would probably go up, increase if he went to YouTube exclusive. And if he could do that and maintain the co-streaming, then that's when things sound pretty interesting. So wouldn't rule that out right now. And Scump was obviously smart enough to consider this possibility if it does, well, if push does come to shove. But yeah, we'll see about it. If Call of Duty does go to YouTube soon, don't be too surprised if Scump is at least considering any potential YouTube exclusivity moves that he might be offered, because if he can do that and still co-stream on YouTube, then it might be still okay for everyone, even though it's obviously not ideal what's going on at the moment and these frustrations, given that we've just finished a phenomenal weekend of Call of Duty, and you know, it's been marred a little bit by some concerns for the future of what we've currently got going on. Just a couple of things to close out we thought was remarkable really here from Simp. 9-time event champion, 2-time world champion already, the best ever average placing of any player, twice MVP of the season, 3 times All-Star, and 74% of events he's gone to has been to the finals. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous stuff. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.